Your hands and feet going numb after 50 is your nervous system sending a distress signal. Not a circulation problem, not aging, a distress signal. And the location it is signaling from has nothing to do with your hands or your feet. It is coming from 3 specific places inside your body, places nobody connects to this symptom, places that have been quietly affecting the same nerve pathways simultaneously while producing no obvious symptom of their own to announce what was happening. Stay through to the 3rd location, because that one will completely reframe every episode of numbness you have ever experienced, and once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Start with the stomach. Not because something feels wrong there, because something changed there after 50 that directly determines whether the nerves in your hands and feet can function properly. After 50, the stomach lining produces significantly less of a compound called intrinsic factor. Most women have never heard of it, and that is the entire problem. Intrinsic factor is the only way the body absorbs vitamin B12 from food. Without enough of it, the B12 in every meal passes straight through without being collected. A woman could eat perfectly, and her body would still not absorb what the nervous system desperately needs. Here is why this lands directly in the hands and feet. Every nerve in the body has a protective coating. That coating is what allows electrical signals to travel cleanly from the brain all the way down to the fingertips and toes. Vitamin B12 builds and maintains that coating continuously. When B12 depletes, the coating thins. Electrical signals that previously traveled in a clean, direct line begin to scatter and distort. What does a distorted nerve signal feel like when it arrives at the hands and feet? Exactly what has been happening: tingling, numbness, pins and needles in a hand or foot that has done nothing to deserve it. And here is the part that explains why so many women have been told their B12 is fine, while their hands go numb every single day. The range laboratories used to define normal B12 is wide enough that many women testing in the low normal range are already experiencing nerve symptoms. The test said normal. The hands said otherwise. Both were telling the truth at the same time. Now the 2nd location, and this one surprises every woman who hears it. Vitamin D. Most women think of vitamin D as a bone nutrient, something with nothing to do with tingling hands and feet. But vitamin D plays a direct role in producing and maintaining the exact same protective nerve coating that B12 maintains. When both B12 and vitamin D are depleted simultaneously, that protective coating is being undermined from 2 directions at once. The nerve is not receiving enough B12 to maintain it from the inside, and it is not receiving enough vitamin D to produce new coating to replace what is deteriorating. The result is a nerve pathway that is far more exposed and far more likely to produce the intermittent tingling and numbness that feels random, because no single obvious cause explains it. After 50, vitamin D deficiency in women is extraordinarily common. The skin becomes less efficient at producing it from sunlight. The body becomes less efficient at converting it into its usable form. And a standard blood panel does not always include the specific vitamin D test that gives an accurate picture of actual levels. That test is called the 25-hydroxy vitamin D test. It may need to be specifically requested. For any woman experiencing regular unexplained numbness, it is one of the most important tests available and one of the least automatically ordered. Now the 3rd location, the one that changes everything. The spine. Specifically, the spaces inside the spine, where the nerves traveling to the hands and feet begin their journey outward through the body. After 50, the cushioning between the bones of the spine gradually loses height and hydration. As that cushioning reduces, the spaces through which nerves exit becomes smaller. Nerves that previously moved freely now travel through tighter corridors. This does not always produce pain. In many women, it produces no pain whatsoever. What it produces instead is exactly what has been happening: numbness that comes and goes, tingling that appears and disappears with no connection to anything obvious. Because the cause is not obvious, it is structural. It is happening inside the spine, nowhere near the hands or feet. And here is what makes this the most important of the three locations. A nerve pathway already compromised by B12 depletion and vitamin D insufficiency has almost no tolerance for additional pressure. The spinal compression that a well-nourished nerve might barely register becomes the compression that produces significant daily numbness in a nerve already operating without its full protective coating. The three causes are not running separately. They are compounding each other inside the same nerve pathways at the same time. Here is what to do with this information right now. Request a full B12 evaluation that includes functional B12 status, not just standard serum levels. Request the 25-hydroxy vitamin D test if it has not been done recently. And pay attention to neck position during sleep tonight. The nerves traveling to the hands exit the spine through the neck. A pillow compressing the neck for 8 hours applies sustained pressure to those exact nerve exit points. Many women experience their worst hand numbness in the morning for precisely this reason, and have never connected it to how they slept. The body has been sending this notification long enough. The numbness is not the problem. It is the signal that points directly to the problem, and now you know exactly where to look. If someone close to you has been told this is just aging, show them this video. Just aging is not an explanation. It is a dismissal. The next video goes into what is actually happening inside the digestive system after 50, and why so many symptoms women accept as inevitable are changes the body is directly asking for help with. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Consult a qualified healthcare professional before making any decisions about your health. Your individual situation requires individual professional evaluation.